Welcome back to the DFS Pet Shop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're going to be breaking down last night's six-game NBA slate, going over a little bit of strategy, something that we've come up with new in the sweatshop. Also, I've got a very special guest, the big homie, Rudy Hirata. He goes by DFS Rhino on Twitter. Rudy, what's happening with you, brother? What's happening?
What's going on, Mo?
Cooling, man. Cooling, man. It's really good to have you in the shop, man.
Thank you for inviting me, man. I appreciate it.
Most definitely. Anytime you get somebody that is so willing to help and to be a part of the movement that was started, it's a pleasure, it's an honor, it's a privilege to have you here. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how did you come in touch with the sweatshop? Like how did you find us?
Well, for me personally, I've been in DFS for a while, and I've been doing NFL for years.
Right.
And that's been like my only thing, you know. I was doing pretty good in NFL this year. Once the end of the season came, I had never played NBA DFS before, you know. So naturally, I started doing a little bit with the cash games, and I made a little bit of money here and there.
Right.
And I kind of got addicted to it, I guess you could say. So I started going on YouTube just like anybody else does, and doing my little research on trying to get tips for lineup building and everything like that. I actually came across one of your videos, and you just seemed so real and down to earth, and I really appreciated everything that you were saying on YouTube, and I was instantly kind of drawn into that. Now, it did take me a while. I was skeptical, just like anybody else. I followed you for a good month or so before I actually joined the sweatshop, but I saw everything you were doing and how you were talking about lineup constructions in your core four. So I decided to, jump right into the sweatshop. It just sounded like something that was really cool, and it's been everything I expected and more. It's a nice spot to be in.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And see, and the thing I liked about Rudy, man, is this is a guy that looks at the game differently, because that's what it takes. That's what the sweatshop is all about. It's about a different look at DFS, whether it's NBA, NFL, golf, MMA, whatever it is. The first thing that we do understand is that, we're dealing with numbers. This is a numbers game. This is poker. This is not, just, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying shit like that, but it's real. And I'm going to keep it real with you. And to cut to the chase, we had hit a kind of a rough patch in the shop. I'm telling you, it was a little rough patch. And out of nowhere, at first, Rudy was somebody who was very active, talked a lot. And then I stopped seeing him for a moment. Then he came back, and it was like he came back with this new energy and some new information that he wanted to share with a lot of us. Let's talk a little bit about what made you think to do back testing when it came to perfect lineups that you're finding out. What did you come up with that from?
Well, man, like right before I had joined into the sweatshop with you, I was already hitting kind of a losing streak that I was going on, and it was kind of like irritating me. And I was on Twitter one day just going through some stuff, and I actually saw a post from just one of the random people that post DFS stuff, but it was the perfect lineup for that night. And I remember looking at it, and I was looking at all the players that were on that list, and it just made a lot of sense to me. And, in hindsight, everything makes sense. You're like, oh, why didn't I play him?
Right.
But I looked at it, and it made sense to me. So the next day, I looked at it again, and again, I saw players that I was thinking in my mind were the right play in the first place, but just didn't play them, just like we all do.
Right.
But I started getting like, I'm a person that just needs to know why. And I've always been like that, dating back to when I was a kid. Like, if something's working, I want to know why it works.
Right.
So I downloaded an app that gives you, the perfect lineup every single night at the end of the day. And I just started collecting them and collecting them and collecting them. And I actually went back all the way till New Year's and created my own spreadsheet with all the teams, all the positions and stuff like that told me which teams were giving up the perfect lineup spots at each position. And after I gathered all this data together, I started using it on my own. And I was doing this about 6 weeks before I brought it to the sweatshop because, I wanted to make sure it was something that was legit before I just came out and just started spreading nonsense in the group,
Exactly.
Because I was still kind of semi-new, and I know a lot of people, they probably knew me from my post but didn't know me,
Right.
So I started testing it, and I started hitting spot on with a lot of my plays, and it's still a learning curve for me because it's something that I just started doing, about 2 months ago.
And
Something that I started doing. So it's just as new to me as it is to everybody in the sweatshop. And I'm learning how to teach people how to learn what I'm doing, if you get what I'm saying.
most definitely, you taught me, you teaching me. And to be real about it, when we look at those DraftKings builds, like say when we build our lineups on DraftKings, and you see a lot of times you're going to see the player's salary, you're going to see the little matchup, but either it's green or it's red, and a lot of times me as a DFS player, a seasoned DFS player, I would lean heavily on whether it was green or red, and that's being lazy. I would look at it and say, "Oh man, this is green. It's a plus matchup. Jump right on it." Well, for what Rudy's discovered, a lot of those greens aren't really greens, and a lot of those reds aren't really red. Talk about that a little bit. The correlation you found between a true DVP ranking on the DraftKings or app, as well as opposed to what you found in your research.
And like this is, excuse me, I'm trying to get over a cold here. This is something that I have a hard time explaining to people because I still don't even fully understand it myself. But a lot of the times it's just circumstance, I guess you could say. A lot of the research that I do with this is very contrarian to what a lot of people do. I mean, I see people sitting in there studying statistics and studying trends of certain players
Right.
all the time. Now, with the research that I do, it throws players' names out the window. And this kind of deletes the bias that you have for players. Because, we're all fans of certain teams, we're all fans of certain players. There's players that we just absolutely hate. But what irritates you even more is when you see that player in the perfect lineup and the only reason you didn't play him is because you didn't like him.
Right.
Now, the research that I'm doing with this perfect lineup strategy is it's attacking teams by position and not by player. And this is where it kind of opens your eyes up to finding plays that you normally wouldn't play on a regular night just because you didn't like that player. And a lot of the times, those DVPs are just, sometimes I think they're just blinders to everybody just to try to get you off of what's really there. There's a lot of factors that go into it, from the matchups, the one-on-one matchups that are there. A lot of times you have a team that'll have their best defender plays a small forward position, but if the best offensive player plays shooting guard, they're going to switch that over there, and it's going to open up that small forward position, and you got a place to attack. There's a lot of things and a lot of factors that go into it. It's not really just black and white and as easy as it seems. But the one thing that's always been consistent is the data is always true. And I know you've seen me post the videos in the group that I've been doing for maybe about 10 days or so now.
Yeah. Very helpful.
That every time I break it down, even though it's human error that I don't play what it's given me, but every time I break down the video the next day of all the games the night before, the data always told me what the play was, and it's always been true every single time because it's breaking down the position and not the player.
There was specifically a DeMar DeRozan play that I probably took credit for here on the show. That
I remember this.
I'm talking about. All signs pointed to him having a horrible game. Do not roster him. Do not play him. Rudy does the research, comes to the group and says, "Look, I'm not telling you to play this dude, but the data that I have compiled says this is the best play on the slate." And I'm telling you,
nobody wanted a piece of that, man. And I was in there and I said, "Look, I'm not telling you to play him. I'm just telling you that for me tonight, he is in 100% of my lineups due to what the data is giving me and from my research." And that's kind of what kickstarted this whole thing in the group, because when I first brought it to the attention of the group, everybody just kind of dismissed it. I would get like 1 or 2 likes
when
I was posting. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, after this thing hit a couple times, there was another night too where I don't even remember who they were playing, but Chicago was playing and Jimmy Butler was on that slate, and he had a string of bad games.
Right.
But we're starting to question his heart and where everything was. And I personally hadn't played him in probably over a month just because I didn't like him. But this is one of the first times that I absolutely trusted the data that it was given to me. and I went in the group that day too. I don't remember if it was maybe a day or two after the DeRozan play or before it, but I told everybody then too. I said, "Hey, this is the spot for Butler," and if I remember correctly, he was either first or second on the whole slate.
The whole slate.
That day.
It was the overtime game. He went nuts.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He went nuts in the overtime game, and at first, Rudy is right. They were poo-pooing his strategy when he came and brought it to the group, and now it's like crack. They're like, "Yo, hey Rudy, you got some of them perfect lineups?" Like I'm talking about, yo. As soon as the roster comes out for the next slate, they're like, "Yo, Rudy, you ain't got none more perfect lineups? Where them perfect lineups at?" I'm talking about it's like crack, bro. We are eating that. We are gobbling that shit up right now in the sweatshop, man. And it's awesome, bro. And what he's found to me. And what this has done for me personally in my game is taking out, like he's talking about, that human element, that thing inside of me that says, man, fuck, I don't want to play Kemba because if I play Kemba, they know how much I like him. They're going to get on me. I know he's a great play. What Rudy is saying it makes him a great play, but I don't want to say it because I don't want him to not play well. And then but no, fuck it. I'm going with the data, bro. And that's what's been happening so far, man. It's an awesome thing. I'm very, very proud of the research that you've done, man. And that's something that I know we're going to find a way to incorporate into our MLB, man. I know it is.
Yeah. And if I could make just a little note on it, it's more for the people in the group, but just in general, because you're not going to get this strategy if you're not in the Sweatshop VIP anyways.
Yeah, you're not going
to. This is kind of like a sneak peek at it, but everything that really goes down is in there.
Right.
But, to the fam that's in the VIP group that's watching this right now, a lot of the things that I stress too is it's not always, like I said, this thing is not black and white as it seems. Just because you have the data that I have here doesn't mean it's always 100%, because a lot of the times the misconception that people have is you have a prime team to attack at a certain position, but it's making sure that the guy you're picking has that ability to expose it.
Right.
And, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, you have this team on the list at number one, so I guess that's who I'm supposed to be attacking. And I'm like, yeah, but we're talking about Aaron Aflalo here.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to attack that with no damn Aaron Aflalo. So that's another thing. It's not as black and white as it seems. You still got to do your homework.
Right.
You got to make sure that the guys that are playing that position can expose the weaknesses that are there at the position. And, there's some guys in the sweatshop right now, because I brought it to them. It's new to them. It's still kind of new to me. But I see a couple of the guys catching on right now. And people have been having success with it. I mean, I've been tagged in more posts than I can remember ever in my life, just in the past week or two. People tagging me, hey, Rudy, the strategy on this worked. Hey, Rudy, the information hit on this just right. And there's people winning money from this right now. It's not just me.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing, man. And when this whole thing started, man, the sweatshop in general, we at a point now where this shit is bigger than me. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, this shit can still go on because we've got guys like Rudy, we've got guys like Derek Patterson, Jason Gunnarsson, fucking Dexter Pope. There's like a million other motherfuckers, 1,000 other motherfuckers whose names I can call that can keep this shit going, man. And that's why I wanted to start this, because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than the actual plays. It's bigger than the players. The man has found a way to attack by position, and we are going to find a way to incorporate this strategy in MLB. Rudy, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. And if y'all ain't in the VIP yet, y'all better get in, because baseball is about to start, and we're about to attack this. This is the first year I've ever played NBA, and I figured this out just now. If I would have known this when the season tipped off, like, I'm already ready for next season in NBA.
Bro.
But I want to see how this trend works in other sports too. From what I found, this works across all the different sites. I'm in Texas, so I can't play FanDuel, but we got guys in the sweatshop that still use my strategy on FanDuel,
right,
and it's working for them there. It works for me personally in Yahoo. It works for me in DraftKings. So from what I can tell, the strategy works across all sites, and now we're about to attack MLB, and we're going to see if the strategy works in there too.
Awesome, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on the show, man. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the feature 4 and get on their ass. Rudy, I'm going to let you go, man. You have a wonderful night. I will see you tomorrow in the VIP. Be there for the midday mix, man. It's going down at 3:30, man. Hey, peace to you, man. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow then.
And this is Rudy Herta again. You can follow him at Rhino DFS. If you have any questions for him, hit him up. If he helps you out, pay the man.
I like that message.
All right. Have a good night, bro.
All right, you too.
Yeah, man. Really, really solid cat, man. Solid cat. Great stuff. Always willing to help. Always eager to help. And you know what? There are, I'm not going to say that there's 1,000 Rudies in the sweatshop, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of cats just like that that enjoy helping, enjoy the research, and really get off on seeing other people win, just like your boy here. So let's go ahead and jump into our regular formatting of the show. This is the point where we will be going over the Core 4 review as well as the Feature 4. Tonight's Core 4, not a very good one. Half of them shat the bed. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving, man. Who would have thought that the Cleveland Cavaliers would not come to play? Who would have thought that they would fake injuries in order to not finish the game and get blown completely off of the court? Kawhi Leonard showed up and showed out on them cats, man, and it was a very poor, lackluster showing for a lot of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was a player that I had in there. I had DeMar DeRozan, who I really liked, had him in a ton of spots. Tobias Harris was somebody that I liked, gave us the blue balls. Started off hot, smoking, 16 points in the first half, finished the game with 20, not good there. Also, I had Jonas Valanciunas, a very good play. I love the spot that Valanciunas was in, man. He had a very solid game, scoring upwards of 30 DraftKings points at 4.7K. That was very solid. So we had DDR, we had Jonas Valanciunas, we had Tobias Harris, and we had just like 26% of the field, we had Kyrie Irving. So that was the Core 4 review. Let's go ahead and jump into the Feature 4 plays of the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS Sweatshop, in the Facebook VIP, and as well as on Twitter. We're going to start with a Who Dat. Scoring all the points over there, play tonight. This is Corey Joseph at 8% owned. Very low owned on a 6-game slate. 4.8K was the price tag on him. Went out and brought you 43.5 DraftKings points. This is a play that we discussed in the midday mix. I kind of, warned cats. Listen, do not shy away from rostering Corey Joseph. He's in a prime spot. We went over his last few games. Out of the last, now he's up to 6 out of the last 7 games. He has met or exceeded that 5x value. So he has been on a very good run as they make their playoff push for positioning. Corey Joseph, tonight, you are the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. This guy I'm going to get into is going to be the How Did I Miss That Play tonight? And this really bothers me, bro. This really bothers me. Whenever I have such a close personal relationship with the How Did I Miss That Play? These are guys that I should be on, but I can tell you how I missed this play. It's because you don't know what the fuck is going on with Jeff Hornacek in New York. You don't know if you're going to see Melo. You don't know if he's... A couple games ago, they said the whole team was going to be resting, or the starters were going to be resting. They were going to be shutting it down some. And now you see these guys playing 40 minutes. You see Melo have the game of his life in the first half. And he was a question mark to even play. So that's how I missed on Kristaps Porzingis, man. He was only 11% owned, 7.4K, went out and scored 49.5 DraftKings points. Was, I believe, in the top 10 overall in DraftKings scoring on the evening. Very solid game here from Kristaps Porzingis. Now, let's talk about the heat check play tonight. Salute to the homie with the unibrow, the brow, AD. Big game AD. 18% ownership, 10.2K. Went out and got 75.25 DraftKings points. And if you rostered AD, you had enough. Excuse me, if you rostered LeBron, you had enough money for AD. That hurt. That hurt. When I look back and I saw, I was like, damn, they booked 10.3, 10.2. Fuck, I could have had AD everywhere. And he went out and scored 75 DraftKings points. Excellent game from you. That's why tonight you, Anthony Davis, salute. You are the heat check player tonight. Very great game. Awesome game we saw from you. Now, let's talk about that one motherfucker. And it is definitely Kyrie Irving or the entirety of the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. Y'all some motherfucking snowflakes, man, with y'all snowflake ass. All of you. All of you. It was just a piss poor, sorry, low-spirited performance from all of you. And LeBron, you caught the elbow to the back, and you was grabbing your head, and that's just whack. Just whack. It was horrible. Horrible show. I don't even want to talk about it too much because I'm feeling pretty good. We had a very special guest on the show. We talking strategy because that's what this is about, bro. This DFS is about strategy. It's not just about plays. It's not just about players. It's not just about the sports. This is a numbers game. I want you to understand that. This is a numbers game. We talked a little bit about it today in the midday mix when I had to let people know, listen, man, cats putting 150, they're max entering. They're max entering out. They're max entering. And that's not the problem. The problem is when the same people that max enter also are your number one source for media. How you gonna go to the motherfuckers who got all the money in DFS and tell them, and so they can tell you how to take their money? They're not gonna do that. That's why we need to stick together. And I shouted out some other shows that I really believe in, some guys I really like. We talk about Josh Lloyd, Solid Cat, Gundecker, guy I really like Gundecker. Talk to him a lot. Also, Fantasy Phenom, solid guys over there. The homie Money Mike, Kyle. There's a community of us on YouTube, man, and we should all be sticking together, fighting for the little man. We should never bicker between the few of us. Never. We should all come together to take that money back from the Sharks, man, because we know who the bigger sites are. We know who are the ones that's putting us on plays or taking us off plays. We know who those guys are, right? We know who those guys are. So we need to when we patronize their shit, we want to find out who they putting everybody else on. We want to find out who they don't want us to play, because it's more than just plays. It's more than just players. It's numbers. It's a numbers game. So get you a numbers guy. We got quite a few here in the sweatshop. The only way you're really going to get a chance to really see what Rudy has and some other guys have in the way of strategy and stuff is to formally be a part of the sweatshop. Come on into the Facebook VIP. That's how you're going to get everything. And the way you do that is you go to the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. That is where you will receive everything. I will open up the velvet rope, let you right on into the VIP. You can come on inside it, kick your feet up, and enjoy this baseball season with us. Because the one thing that I have right now that we didn't have for the whole basketball season, we got a team, we got a group, we got a core of guys that love to see guys like us win, and that's beautiful. And you don't have that with the other people. You don't have that. They love to see you lose. They want you to not only pay them a ton of money in subscription fees, but they want to take your money when it comes tournament time. That's not what we about. We want the logo everywhere at the top. So let's go ahead and jump into a quick recap of yesterday's games. We're going to start with the first game on the slate was the Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors. This game, I said I would bet the over in this game. This game went ham as far as the over-under. I believe it was a combined 243 points. I think the total was like 206 or something. Maybe 211 at the most. We're going to start on the Orlando side. Terrence Ross, in his return to Toronto, the big-time revenge narrative everybody was talking about, he had a decent game. 17 points, 2 boards, and 4 steals. Shot 57% from the field. Had a very solid game at that price point. Aaron Gordon, 16 and 1 to go with 2 assists. Not a big game from him. We saw a nice double-double from Nikolai Vucevic, but we needed to see a little bit more in order to make that value that we wanted from him. 28 minutes, he had 12 points, 15 boards, and 4 assists while shooting 45% from the field. Evan Fournier chipped in 20 points in his 30 minutes, also had a rebound, an assist, and 2 steals. We saw 31 minutes for Elfrid Payton. He had 22 and 9 assists with 1 rebound, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty solid game for him at that price point. Didn't see much else, man. Mario Hezonja was somebody we thought could make some hay, but in 22 minutes, he had 3 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, while shooting 1 for 10 from the field. Dude had some opportunities and just could not put the ball in the basket. On the Toronto side, we talked about stacking Toronto, man. There was so many guys that you could play for the Toronto side, and it wasn't the usual suspects. We talked about PJ Tucker, 7 and 5 with 1 assist, 3 steals. Not a huge game there. Serge Ibaka, not very big game from him. 16 and 7 with 1 assist and 1 steal. Jonas Valanciunas, he fell 1 rebound shy of that double-double, but he did have 17 points, blocked the shot, and of course had 9 rebounds while shooting 77% from the field. Big game we saw from DeMar DeRozan in 36 minutes. He had 36 points, 2 boards, and 3 assists. Pretty solid game from him. Corey Joseph, 15 points, 13 dimes, 6 rebounds, 1 block, shooting 60% from the field. Very nice game there. Jakob Poeltl in 12 minutes had 12 and 4. And we saw Norman Powell off of the bench for 24 minutes. He had 16 and 1 rebound to go with 2 assists and a block shot. Pretty solid game for him. Also, Delon Wright in 18 minutes had 7 and 1 to go with 3 assists and 3 steals. Also had 2 blocks. Pretty solid game for the young rookie. Next game we're going to talk about is my New York Knicks at the crib inviting the Detroit Pistons over for dinner. Really solid game we saw from Andre Drummond, but not a big fantasy game. He had 24 minutes, 10 points, 15 boards, 3 assists. Not a great fantasy game, but a pretty good game nonetheless. Ish Smith in 35 minutes had 15 and 60 with 5 assists and 1 steal. Pretty solid game from him. We saw John Lure for 24 minutes. He had 8 and 3 to go with 2 assists and 1 block. Marcus Morris in 33 minutes. He led the team in scoring, had 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, while shooting 46% from the field. And Tobias Harris, he shot the bed in 34 minutes. He had 12 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, and 1 steal. On the New York Knicks side, the Knicks have a big three. Newsflash, they have a big three. Kristaps Porzingis in 37 minutes had 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks while shooting 62% from the field, hit all 4 of his free throws and 1 of 4 3-point shots. Willie Hernangomez in 26 minutes had 15 and 5 with 2 assists and 1 steal. Pretty solid game from him. Courtney Lee did a little bit of everything. 7 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block while shooting 50% from the field. And Derrick Rose playing for that new contract. Man, he had 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists to go with a steal while shooting 70% from the field. Very solid game there from him. Carmelo Anthony in 35 minutes had 21 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals while shooting 53% from the field. He hit both of his free throws and hit 3 of 5 3-point shots. Very solid game there for the return of Carmelo Anthony. On the next game we're talking about, the Cleveland Cavaliers shitting the bed in San Antonio, getting their ass whipped. Horrible game we saw from them. On the Cleveland side, man, LeBron James played 29 minutes. They quit in the fourth quarter, or end of the third. They quit. 17 points, 8 boards, 8 assists, while shooting 41% from the field. Kevin Love in 27 minutes had 9 and 7 to go with 4 and 2. Tristan Thompson 11 and 7 to go with a block shot. I don't even want to talk about this shit no more. Kyrie Irving, man, 25 minutes, he had 8 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. This was a horrible showing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. It was disgraceful. On the San Antonio side, Kawhi Leonard in 29 minutes dropped 25 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block while shooting 52% from the field. Pretty solid game we saw from Dwayne Dedmon in 20 minutes. He had 8 and 13 boards to go with a block shot. LaMarcus Aldridge in 28 minutes had 14 and 7 to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Didn't see much else from everybody. Everybody chipped in a little bit. Paul Gasol 14 and 4 to go with a steal in his 21 minutes. Manu Ginobili 12 and 3 to go with an assist and a steal. And we saw Patty Mills for 17 minutes. He had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 7 assists and 1 steal. Tony Parker played 19 minutes, had 2 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Horrible game from Tony Parker. He fooled me with that one. Next game we're talking about lived up to the point total, man. This was a 1-point spread, and that's exactly what happened. The Oklahoma City Thunder won this game by 1 point in Dallas. We're going to start on the Oklahoma City side. Taj Gibson in 24 minutes had 13 and 6 to go with 1 assist and 1 block. We saw a big triple-double from Russell Westbrook in 36 minutes. He had 37 points, 13 boards, 10 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Very solid game there. Vic Oladipo damn near double-doubled in 36 minutes. He had 15 and 9 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty solid game from him. Steven Adams played 28 minutes, and he had 8 points, 6 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Didn't see much from Enes Kanter in his 17 minutes off of the bench. He only had 6 points and 2 rebounds. On the Dallas Mavericks side, not a lot to love here. Nerlens Noel in 27 minutes had 15 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, and 4 steals. Also blocked 2 shots. That was a very solid game from him. Wesley Matthews 15 and 4 with 4 assists and 1 steal. And it came out after lock that we were not going to be seeing Lil Brel. Lil Brel got ruled out after lock. So a lot of us were already in. And then we found out that we weren't going to be seeing Lil Brel. That kind of sucked. But we did see Sanjay Barea. In 28 minutes, he had 10 points, 8 assists, 1 steal, and 1 rebound. And we saw Yogi Ferrell for 31 minutes. He had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Pretty solid game there from him. Dirk Nowitzki, 8 and 8 to go with 2 assists and 1 block. And, of course, Harrison Barnes didn't do much, 10 points, 2 boards, and 1 steal in his 36 minutes. The last 2 games on the slate ended up being, like, the best games. I mean, they weren't high in actual points, but in, like, fantasy scoring, they were pretty great fantasy scoring games, man. And you kind of knew where the production was going to come from for the Memphis side as well as the New Orleans and the Utah side. Because once we found out that we weren't going to be seeing Boogie, we weren't going to be seeing Gordon Hayward, it made it easier to make rosters in the late. But if we had known this information earlier, we could have made some rosters in the late and throw them bitches in the main. So, next game we're going to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies going to Sacramento to take on the Kings. Everybody was on Mike Conley all day long and really didn't want to be because he hadn't been playing particularly well lately, but he did have a really nice game. In 40 minutes, Mike Conley had 22 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. Pretty solid game from him. Zach Randolph, Zebo, in 31 minutes had 17 and 15 to go with 2 assists and 1 block. We saw a nice game from Troy Daniels off of the bench. In 29 minutes, he had 10 points and 3 rebounds. Not much we saw from JaMychal Green, man. In 20 minutes, he had 10 and 40 with 1 assist and 1 steal. Those minutes went to Brandon Wright. And in 21 minutes, he had 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals while shooting 71% from the field. Of course, Marc Gasol was out in this game. On the Sacramento side, wasn't the usual suspects, man. We really thought we were going to see a solid game from Buddy Hield, but in 33 minutes, he only had 14 and 4. And Darren Collison, he led the team in scoring. In 36 minutes, he had 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. Ty Lawson did make an appearance for 19 minutes. He had 10 points and 1 rebound. Pretty solid game from Willie Cauley-Stein. He did fall 1 rebound shy of that double-double bonus on DraftKings. In 33 minutes, he had 12 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Pretty solid game from him. Kosta Koufos in 30 minutes had 11 and 5 with 1 assist, 2 steals, and 3 blocks while shooting 71% from the field. Very solid game there from him. Last game on the slate, the late night hammer game was in Utah, where the Jazz were taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Big game we saw from the Heat Check player tonight, man. Anthony Davis went ham without DeMarcus Cousins in the lineup. In 41 minutes, he had 36 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. And this dude is just a monster, man. He also got to the free throw line 14 times, converted 11 of those tries into points, hit 1 of 2 3-pointers. Just a full stat line and an awesome game we saw from tonight's Heat Check player tonight, Anthony Davis. Dante Cunningham got the start in place of Boogie Cousins. And in 39 minutes, he had 8 points and 4 boards. Bro, you played 39 minutes. 39 minutes at 3K. And that's Solomon Hill in 37 minutes had 11 points and 8 boards to go with the block shot. We saw Jordan Crawford for 29 minutes. He had 14 and 1 to go with 2 assists. Also did block a shot. And Tim Frazier in 22 minutes had 4 points, 2 boards, 6 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Not a great game there. And Drew Holiday had a pretty decent game in 39 minutes. He had 19 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty solid game there from him. On the other side, man, let me tell you something. Rudy Gobert is not only the best center in the league, he is the only center in the league. Dude is a fucking throwback. Like, he does, like, what early 80s centers did. Like, this dude is a straight-up center, and there's not a lot of them in the league. There's really not. Dude is a fucking monster, bro. In 39 minutes, he had 20 points, 19 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and blocked 5 shots. Shot 72% from the field like a big man should. This is an excellent game there. Rodney Hood, the big homie Rodney Hood in 30 minutes had 20 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, while shooting 43% from the field. Hit 4 of 7 3-point shots, 2 of 4 free throws. Very solid game there with Gordon Hayward out. George Hill, decent game in 32 minutes. He had 17 and 2 to go with 5 assists and 1 steal. Joe Ingles was knocking him down as well. In 35 minutes, he had 19 and 4 with 4 assists, 1 steal, while shooting 53% from the field. Hit every 3-point shot he took. All 5 of the motherfuckers went down. Very solid game there. Even Joe Johnson got into the action, man. He played 31 minutes and had 14 points, 7 boards, and 6 assists while shooting 50% from the field. Also hit 2 of 3 3-point shots. So it was a very nice night of NBA. We can look ahead to tomorrow's 8-game slate, which really isn't an 8-game slate on DraftKings. We only got 6 games. Those are early games starting at 7. And then we do have a late, I think they saved the 2 late games to begin at 10 o'clock. So we've got another 6-game slate on tap. That's going to be the DraftKings main. I believe over on FanDuel, we do have 8 games, a full 8-game main slate over on FanDuel. So if you want to get exposure to all games in one area, complete 8-game slate, you can go over to FanDuel and do that. DraftKings, they got the first 6 games, and then the last 2 are going to be a part of that late slate, which I don't have a problem with because that means you can't get bit by any late news. Everybody's going to start playing. You're going to know what time it is before the night is over. Over on Yahoo, there is an 8-game slate there. We've also got a 3-gamer, a 3-gamer and another 2-gamer over on Yahoo. So another action-packed night of NBA DFS, man. Opening day is coming soon in baseball. That's going to be a awesome time there. So we're going to be focusing tonight on the DraftKings main slate, the 6 games. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick. And what I like to do, we talk about this all the time. What I like to do is I am going to, to show you my very best DraftKings lineup. And I do this just so that you know, man, the guys that I'm talking about, bro, those are the guys that I'm actually playing. Like, I'm not just saying, oh, I like this guy, this guy, this guy, and I'm not playing them motherfuckers. The guys I'm talking about are actually the guys I'm playing. And just so happened, my very best DraftKings lineup took place in the in the late in the late, my very best one, and it was a 300 club lineup. Like most lineups that cash. Well, this one was in the main. This is in the late right here. 321. Late lineup stack. Collison, Drew Holiday, Vince Carter, JaMychal Green, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, finishing with Anthony Davis. This lineup was good for 321 cash in all of my late night lineups. Let's go ahead and jump to some quick player pricing for tomorrow's 6-game DraftKings main. I'm going to pop that open. You notice MLB is there. You can start checking it out. Get a feel for your lineup construction. We're going to have some stuff coming to you for that as well. Go. Now let's look at this because I already like this. As you can see, we've got a 6-game main slate starting at 7. Okay, we've got a 4-game turbo at 7:30. We've got a 2-game late at 10. So you're not going to be able to make anything here and throw anything over there. You're not going to be able to do that. But what you can do is make you some lineups in here, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that over just to see exactly what those games are. Those games start at 7:30. We got a 4-game 7:30 slate. That's Phoenix, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Miami, Detroit, and Golden State, Houston. That's a nice turbo slate right there, bro. That is a nice turbo. I think that you can make some lineups in the turbo and throw them bitches in the main. It happened tonight. Make some lineups here and throw them bitches in the main. You won't be sorry, man. I'm telling you. That lineup that cashed 321. If I had thrown that bitch in the main, bro, we gotta start doing that, y'all. We gotta start doing that. So let's go ahead and pop this open. This is where we're gonna get a feel for who we like. What guys we know automatically we can roster and put into our personal player pools, and what guys that we know we don't want to have in our lineups. We can already see you got the big homie, James Harden. James Harden, the highest salaried play on tonight's slate. He is at 12.3. Game Golden State, got no problem with it. That's going to be, that's a crazy game. The point total should be well above 230 points. We're going to have tons of exposure to that game. Guy I really like next is going to be Karl Anthony Towns at 10.1. That is a hell of a price drop off from 12.3 all the way down to 10.1. I like that. Of course, you can give me some Giannis at 9.7 against the Charlotte Hornets. I want to go to this game tomorrow. Man, I want to go to this game tomorrow. Steph Curry at 9.4. That's a play that I do like. The fan, all of the hoopla surrounding this game. I think you're going to be able to take any number of these guys in this game. I do like Steph Curry tomorrow at 9.4. He's been playing lights out, actually. Paul George at 8.4. Not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Although, who's going to guard him? It says the second-ranked DVP, but who's going to guard him? I mean, I can't see. This team does not limit the small forward position the way we think they do. They've given up a number of perfect lineup spots. So I think we can look at Paul George tomorrow at 8.4. At home, Indiana against Wiggins. I'll take some of that. Kevin Durant is out, of course. Hassan Whiteside 8.2. That's a very solid matchup for him. This team is still fighting for playoff positioning. I do like Whiteside. Draymond Green 8.1. That price is up a little bit. Not too sure I'm on that. Kemba is at home at 8K. This team does limit the point guard position. I may have some shares of Kemba just because I like to roster him when he's at home. And he has been having a couple of good games in a row. Dennis Schroeder at 7.8. That price is up on him. That price is up. And the Atlanta Hawks are bad. And the Phoenix Suns are bad as well. I might take a shot on him. Dario Saric at 7.7. Yes, I like some of that. You can give me some Dwight Howard at 7.6 as well. Price down to 7.5. I like going Drag tomorrow. I like that. That's a nice price. Now, see, this is my first look. We're taking our first look together, and I'm making my player pool as we going through it. So I do like that. Klay Thompson at 7.5 is a player that I definitely think we can get behind. I do like Devin Booker at 7.4 going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Andre Drummond 7.4. The price is down on him. I think people are down on him as well. That would be the reason why I might give him a run. I do like Ricky Rubio at 7.4K. We can definitely take advantage of Jeff Teague defensively. Paul Millsap probably going to be out for this game. TJ Warren at 7.2. That price is up just a touch. I don't have a problem with it, but I probably won't be rostering him too heavily. I do like Jeff Teague matched up against Ricky Rubio defense. I don't think there's a problem there. Nick Batum at 7K flat. Not a play I'm particularly interested in. Tyler Ulis is under 7K. I could do it. I could. Brook Lopez, yes. We know we like to attack the the Philadelphia 76ers at the center spot at home. Give me some of that Brook Lopez. Pour him on me, baby, at 6.9. Robert Covington, 6.8. Yes, I like him, the spot that he's in. I do like Andrew Wiggins. Miles Turner, that does turn me on. I like that. At 6.7, I do like Miles Turner. Price is up on him now because he was just under 6K. But, this is a solid matchup for him. James Johnson, 6.6K. I can take a look at that as well. I like that. Tim Hardaway Jr., 6.5. Yeah, I like Tim Hardaway Jr. Rashawn Holmes, 6.3. No, that price is up too high. I don't like it. Chris Middleton, 6.2. We can attack. See, this is one part. We can attack the Charlotte Hornets at the shooting guard position. But be honest, who is the real shooting guard on this team? Is it Chris Middleton or is it a guy like Giannis that can play any fucking position? I would just play Giannis to keep it moving. I'm not fucking with Chris Middleton. Marvin Williams is down to 6.1. This is a very tough spot for power forwards to get off. I haven't rostered Marvin Williams since he's been on that crazy tear, and I don't think I'm going to start now. Ersan Ilyasova at 6K. No, I don't want that. Dion Waiters probably should still be out. Tobias Harris, 6K, not a player that I really like. I do like Jeremy Lin. If I keep Jeremy Lin under 6K, I like him. I just like him. Matched up against TJ McConnell, the dude's probably going to see, between 25 and 30 minutes. I don't have an issue with that at all. Tyler Johnson, 5.8. The price is low. I'm not afraid of them at the point guard spot, and I already like Goran Dragic, so I'm going to like Tyler Johnson as well. Marcus Chris is 5.7. That price is down some from that 5.9 that it was. Don't know if I can trust him again. I'm not really feeling that spot. Trevor Ariza at 5.6. Not a player that I'm particularly interested in. Now, see, this is a 6-game slate on DraftKings. So if I'm stacking some Houston shit, yeah, I'll take a look at Trevor Ariza. TJ McConnell, 5.5. That's a play that I can get behind. I do like that. I do like TJ McConnell at that price point. Gorgui Dieng at 5.5 is also a play that interests me as well. As we know, that Thad Young is still dealing with that ailing back, man. And I think Gorgui Dieng can beat him up on the boards. Allen Williams, 5.4. Yes, I like that play. Clint Capella at 5.4. That's a play that they can't take off the floor. Golden State Warriors running can't take Clint Capella off the floor. And their small ball lineup, it really doesn't matter when it comes to a team that pushes the pace the way Houston does. D'Antoni is a pace pusher as a coach, and he implores James Harden to continue to keep that pace fast. This is a team that can score in bunches and score quickly. I think it's going to be a very good game. I do like Cody Zeller at 5.3. I think he's in a really solid spot, been playing well lately. Eric Gordon at 5.3. If Ryan Anderson is going to be out, and if Eric Gordon continues to start, we can look to him. Frank Kaminsky at 5.2. That's very low price for him, man, going up against that Milwaukee second team. He's the guy that bridges the gap between, the shitty guys on the bench of Charlotte Hornets and the starters. He's like the bridge between him, Marco Bellinelli, and Jeremy Lamb. Him being the leader of that second team. I do like Frank Kaminsky today. Greg Monroe, 5.2. We can attack Charlotte, rebound in the basketball, no doubt. I like that. Josh Richardson is 5.2. I'm not really interested in that. Neither am I interested in Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Probably going to be matched up against Robert Covington. Both of those guys are two of the best or the better young perimeter defenders or wing defenders in the league. So I probably won't take my chances on Rondae Hollis-Jefferson tomorrow. Sweet Lou Williams, yes, he's going to be fumbling and bumbling and knocking down shots. I think so. I like him. Malcolm Brogdon is not a player that I'm particularly interested in. Neither is KCP or Marcus Morris. Ish Smith, no, I don't like the roster point guards against the Miami Heat. I just don't like to do it. Kilpatrick is questionable, probably not going to play. I do like Iguodala at 5K. Pat Bev kind of interests me at 4.9 because we know Ryan Anderson is going to be out. So those guys, that's one less body in the rotation that's going to be splitting those minutes up between those guys. Taurean Prince, if he gets to start at 4.8, I like him. I like him. Reggie Jackson is at 4.8, and he probably is not going to be playing today as well. Chido Okafor, if he does play, I still don't like him. But if he doesn't play, if he does play, I don't like him. But I would like him to play because that means Brook Lopez can destroy him real quick. MKG is down to 4.7. That's a fair price. He's probably going to be the one tasked with guarding Giannis in a lot of spots, and I think that's going to generate a lot of defensive usage for him. He's going to be on the floor a lot. I do like the spot that he's in at 4.7K. I think he can make value on that one. Willie Reed is a no. Alex Len, 4.6. No. Trevor Booker, not a player that I really like. Monte Ellis, if he continues to start at 4.6, I like him because who's going to play him? Brandon Rush? No. Thabo Sefolosha, 4.5. Probably not going to be playing tomorrow. Neither is Michael Beasley. Nene at 4.4. Not a player that I'm particularly interested in. I don't think he's going to be the one to stay out there while the Golden State Warriors are playing small, running up and down the court. Thad Young, 4.4. No. Shabazz Muhammad? Yes. Give me some of that Shabazz Muhammad at 4.3. I like that. Sean Long, the price is up on him at about 4.2. I do see the reason why you might want to roster him coming off those a couple of good games in a row. But we got that. All that depends on if you're going to see Rashawn Holmes and Jahlil Okafor. Because if both of those guys are playing, then I'm not going to play Sean Long. But if Okafor is out, we can take a look at Sean Long at 4.2. Matt Barnes at 4.2. I think could be a solid play. John Lure, I like him at 4.1. Sauce is a no for me. Brian Anderson, of course, is out, as is Kent Bazemore. Marco Belinelli at 4K is a player that I'm kind of interested in. Tony Snell, yes, I'm kind of interested in Tony Snell at 3.9. I think he could be a very cheap salary-saving option to help you out in a few spots. Dinwiddie, 3.9. Not so much. Jared Dudley, KJ McDaniels, Karis LeVert. Yes, I like Karis LeVert at 3.8 because he's going to be. Well, he is probably going to be matched. He could be matched up with Covington. He could be matched up with Covington if they start Rondae Hollis-Jefferson at the power forward, which I don't see them having to do that because who's going to play Dario Saric? I think that they probably will put Hollis-Jefferson on Dario Saric and then put Covington on Karis LeVert. So that kind of makes me curb my enthusiasm about Karis LeVert. Jaja, 3.8. Don't think he's going to get the minutes tomorrow. Quincy Acey, a player that I do like at 3.7. I kind of like the spot that he's in. Sam Decker, 3.6 is a no. CJ Miles is a no. Wayne Ellington is a no for me. Aaron Baines is a no. Whitehead, no. Sergio, yes, at 3.5. Very cheap salary-saving option if you don't like. I think you should have one of those guys in your lineups. Either TJ McConnell or Sergio. Because either one of those guys could have a really good game. And if you don't like one, I think you should like the other. Draymond Lamb, 3.4, deserves consideration for me. Cabarrot, if he does start at 3.4, I kind of like that play. No Randy Ford for me. No Chris Dunn for me at all. Let's go and check out who's the 3K play today. Because we nailed a 3K play with Delon Wright today. Who is the 3K play of the day? Who was a 3K play today? Brian Roberts, Deontay Weber, Shavon, Udry. Udry could be the 3K play today. Playing against Miami, this game could get out of hand. We could see a ton of run when we know that we're not going to be seeing Reggie Jackson. I think you should look at Bino Udry as well as Stanley Johnson because we know that we're not going to be seeing Reggie Jackson. So that's a guy out of the backcourt rotation that is gone. So we can look to maybe one of these guys in his absence. So that's not too much else I like. It's maybe some Archie Goodwin at 3K. He's been seeing a fair amount of run lately for the Brooklyn Nets. You can look at him. Not a lot to love, man. Patrick McCaw may get to start at 3K. You might want to look at him tomorrow. He may get to start for Golden State. Rodney Stuckey is going to be questionable, so Aaron Brooks could deserve consideration as well. Brandon Rush is a starter, going to be playing in Indiana for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can look at him. Kevin Seraphin, we know we're not going to be seeing Al Jefferson tonight, so Kevin Seraphin could be a play at 3K that you look to if you want to save some salary. Then you see Al Jefferson's going to be out tomorrow. So that's somebody you may be able to look at. Well, there you go. Let's go and get the logo back popping as we jump into the point totals. You know what? I thought, man, today we're not going to see any craziness, man. Everything's going to be smooth sailing, and that just wasn't the case. We saw some crazy shit today. When it came to the point totals and the point spreads, the only one that really hit on like where it's supposed to hit was the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. The one that I thought could, get really crazy. So let's get the logo back up and popping, and then we will jump into the point totals as we attempt to close out tonight's NBA pod. All right, we're going to first game on the slate is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks going to the Charlotte Hornets. I am a Charlotte Hornets homer. I live just up the road from Charlotte. Go there quite often to watch those guys play. Have a ton of experience watching the Charlotte Hornets. The Beehive is electric. It is a great place to watch basketball. The fans are always very involved. They love their team. Their team loves them. Just like a sixth man is the actual fan base of the Charlotte Hornets. So anytime I catch the Charlotte Hornets at home in a matchup that I do like, I think I try to exploit those items. So Nicholas Batum, one play I think we can look at. I like Kemba Walker in this spot. It's going to be a contrarian play. Nobody's going to want to play Kemba. They're going to see that DPP and not want to play him. But who's going to be guarding him? Who's going to have to score the points for them? I think Frank Kaminsky offers a little bit of upside at that 5.2 price tag. Cody Zeller, somebody we can look at 5.3. I do like MKG some. The only guy I really don't like that's in like the main rotation is Marvin Williams tomorrow. Only play that I don't like at all. Only play. For the Milwaukee side, Giannis. Anytime Giannis is under 10K, he deserves consideration. We can look at him there. We got Chris Middleton at 6.2. Not a play that I'm particularly in love with, man. It's just not. Tony Snell at 3.9. He does interest me just for the simple fact that, the Charlotte Hornets give it up to the two-guard position. And that dude can slash and get to the basket and make a couple of plays. He's very cheap. 3.9K could be solid. I do like Greg Monroe in the spot that he is in. Of course, this is a 203-point total with the Milwaukee Bucks slated to score 100 points. That is their implied team total. And the Charlotte Hornets are giving up 3 points, and they are supposedly to score 103. So what that means, we got a point total that's at 100. We can look to the studs for the games, and that would drive me straight to Giannis and Giannis, Greg Monroe. That's what they would have me on the Milwaukee side. On the Charlotte side, Kemba, Nick Batum. I think we can stack those two guys. Next game we're talking about is the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a 207.5 point total with an implied team total on the Minnesota side of 101.3. Another short total. That tells me the Minnesota Big Three is automatically in play. Karl-Anthony Towns at 10.1. Yes. Ricky Rubio, 7.4. Yes. Andrew Wiggins, 6.8. Yes. I am going to be stacking the Minnesota Timberwolves. Even though this team is not playing for much, there's some young guys who just want a ball. And they're not playing for anything, actually, because, their season is pretty much over. But I like the three of those guys. I like that Big Three. I think those guys want to play, get cohesion, and continue to grow as a team. I like those guys. I think we can even look far down as Shabazz Muhammad off of the bench at 4.3K. Very solid price point for him. The Indiana Pacers, they need to win. They need to continue to win these games. I think they're tied for the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference. So Jeff Teague jumps out to me. Paul George, of course, jumps out to me. I kind of like Miles Turner in the spot that he is in. And the deepest I would probably go on this team would be a straight-up salary-saving punt option, maybe at the center position, because we know we're not going to see Alex Jefferson. Somebody's got to come up and play those center minutes. My guess is it would probably be maybe Kevin Seraphin or not Raheem Christmas. Maybe. Who knows? That's as far as I would go with that, though. And Monte Ellis, too. I like him because you can attack the Minnesota Timberwolves at the shooting guard spot, and he's probably going to be the starting. He's probably going to start tomorrow at the shooting guard spot. But I love Miles Turner in the spot, even though the price is 6.7. That's a nice hike in price on him. But I think it can be well worth it tomorrow. Next game we're talking about is going to be the Phoenix Suns going to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. This is a 215 point total with the Phoenix Suns an implied team total of 103.5. On the Atlanta side, we got 111.5 as their point total as they are giving up 8 points to the Phoenix Suns. Let's start with Atlanta, man. A point total like this means that we don't have to just relegate ourselves to the studs on this team if we do see any. Guys like, Dwight Howard. We don't just have to play Dwight Howard. We don't just have to play Dennis Schroeder. We don't just have to play Tim Hardaway. We can look, to guys like Taurean Prince. We can look, maybe to Ersan Ilyasova in some spots. Like all of the helpers in this game could be quite beneficial. So that's what we mean when we see that point total that's 111, one of those larger point totals. We can look not only to just the stud on the team, the Dwight Howard and Dennis Schroeder, but we can look to Tim Hardaway Jr. as well as Taurean Prince, maybe some Ersan Ilyasova. So this is a stackable offense in my estimation. On the Phoenix Sun side, low point total, 103.5. I mean, that's not super low, but it's low enough to where we can center our focus on, the guys that mean the most to this team. And right off the bat, jumps out to me is going to be Devin Booker, maybe some Tyler Ulis, and of course, T.J. Warren. Of course, those would be the three guys that I would look to for the Phoenix side. Maybe some Allen Williams if you think the game gets out of hand and he sees some scrub love. Maybe there. Next game we're talking about is the Philadelphia 76ers going to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. This is a 221 point total, man. It's the second highest point total on the slate. Philadelphia side, they're projected to score 109.5 points. On the Brooklyn side, their projection is 112 points. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are giving up 2.5 points in this game. So not only is it a large point total, it is a very, very small margin of victory for the Brooklyn Nets. So that leads me to think we can look at more than 2 or 3 spots on both of these teams. I like T.J. McConnell, of course. I think we can look to Sergio Rodriguez in some spots as the cheap salary saving option. Maybe some Robert Covington. Of course, Dario Saric is 7.7. I like that. And we got Robert Covington under 7K, man. I like that. On the Brooklyn Nets side, of course, Brook Lopez is in play for us. We love to target the center spot against the Philadelphia 76ers. This puts the backup center in play for me as well. A guy like Quincy Acey is somebody that could see some solid run, off of the bench. And he has been playing very well, trending up lately, as a matter of fact. Jeremy Lin, of course, jumps out to me as well. Maybe some Rodney Hollis-Jefferson, maybe, because he's going to be guarded by Dario Saric. He's going to be matched up with Dario Saric, while Karis LeVert is matched up with Robert Covington. So that would kind of take me off of Well, no, it wouldn't take me off LeVert. I still like LeVert. He's one of those young players that I just like. I still like LeVert. 3.8K. I mean, how bad can he hurt you if he goes out and only scores like 18 points? I like him. He's 3.8K. Next game we're talking about Miami Heat going to Detroit to take on the Pistons. This means the Pistons are on a back-to-back. Miami is fresh as fuck. It's a 202.5 point total, with the Miami Heat giving up 2.5 points and a 102.5 implied team total. Detroit Pistons 100-point team total. So that means whoever the studs are in both of these games are the guys that we want to target the most. Give me some Goran Dragic quick. Give me Hassan Whiteside. Like him. None of that Richardson, Magruder, Babbitt, none of that. I do like James Johnson. Give me some of that at 6.6K. I don't have an issue there. I even would take a shot at Tyler Johnson in some spots, but I wouldn't roster Dragic and Tyler Johnson in the same lineup. I wouldn't stack that. The team total was too low, but I would take a shot at him just to cover my back if Goran Dragic doesn't have a really great game. On the Detroit side, Drummond is somebody that I think I can look at. Maybe some Marcus Morris. That would be it. Drummond, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris would be the only 3 guys that I would definitely look at when it came to the Detroit side. As for sure, guys that I want in my player pool. I would offer some consideration to Bino Udrih, as I know he's going to be seeing those backup point guard minutes. I don't have an issue there. Next game we're going to be talking about, the last game on the DraftKings main, is going to be the Golden State Warriors going to Houston to take on the Rockets. I love the fact that this game is in Houston. Now, this game is an 8 o'clock tip-off. It's a nationally televised game. All the stars will be out tonight. We've got Houston giving up 1.5 points to the Golden State Warriors. with an implied team total of 117.8. The Golden State Warriors 116.3. That means we don't have to just look to the studs in this game. We can look around to the helpers, grab some guys, even though they can be in a starting rotation, it doesn't matter. But we just don't have to go automatically click. Oh, automatically click Steph Curry, put him on lineups. No, we can look to Draymond Green. We can look to Klay Thompson in some spots. We can look to Andre Iguodala off of the bench. I like him. Maybe some Matt Barnes. I like all those guys. Maybe they try to match the athleticism at the center spot for little stretches in the game with JaVale McGee matched up against those the big Houston centers. So there's a few spots that I like. There's 5 deep that I like. I'm talking Steph, Klay, Iguodala, Barnes, JaVale McGee, maybe some Draymond Green. I'm going to add him to my personal player pool. On the Houston side, of course, James Harden. Yeah, of course. Clint Capella. Yes. Eric Gordon. I like Eric Gordon. Maybe some Pat Beverly. Sweet Lou Williams. He was my next play. I would go 3 deep as far as the starters go. Harden, Capella, Gordon. Even give me some Beverly, as well as Sweet Lou Williams off of the bench. That's as far as I go there. Those are the guys that I like there. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about that 2-game late that kicks off at 10 o'clock. We're going to jump into that right now. It's the Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers. I wish this game was in the main, bro. Because these are some really nice scoring games, the last 2 games. Okay, Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers. This is a 226.5 point total with the Denver Nuggets, an implied team total of 112. Very nice. That means, of course, you don't have to just stick to the studs. You can look at some other guys as well. The guys that jump out to me are automatically Nikola Jokic. Gary Harris jumps off from me as well. And this is a stack. You're gonna be stacking this shit, man. I would just play the Denver starting 5. I would just stack the complete Denver starting 5. That's how I would play that game. I would stack the Denver starting 5, or maybe come off of Jameer Nelson and rock with Will Barton there. On the Portland side, I do a similar thing because we know this is a revenge game. We got the revenge narrative going with Yusuf Nurkic at 7.4. Going back, taking on Nikola Jokic is going to be a big deal. I think, this works better for Jokic than it does for Nurkic because he's just a better player. He's just a better player. Excuse the train. I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. Sorry about that. Nurkic, McCollum is in play. Lillard is in play. Vonleh is also in play. Maybe some Al-Farouq Aminu off of the bench. A few guys that I do like in the spot. This would probably be the game that you're going to get the most exposure to when it comes to that late slate, because the next game is going to be the Washington Wizards and the LA Lakers. This is a 226.5 point total, with the Washington Wizards giving up 9 points. Okay, the applied team total for them is 117.8, whereas on the Lakers side, it's 108.8. And automatically, man, John Wall jumps off, screams off of the page, 10.7. This team still needs to win. I do like Bradley Beal. I like the Washington Wizards backcourt matched up against the Lakers. I think Otto Porter can be a solid play at 6.2, especially if we see Brandon Ingram. I know he was dealing with an injury concern. He's going to be a game-time decision tonight. Ian Mahinmi also is somebody who I like. I think he can see some time in scrub love. That's as far as I would go as far as the Wizards, Wall, Beal, Porter, and Ian Mahinmi. For the LA Lakers, of course, Julius Randle is going to be in play for us at 7K. Maybe a little D'Angelo Russell. He is under 7K at 6.9. Don't have an issue with him. Jordan Clarkson, 6.3 is the play that I kind of like. Zubac is a no for me. Maybe some Larry Nance at 4.2. I think that could work, as well as, of course, Brandon Ingram if he does play. So, now, we have recapped last night's games, talked about the featured 4 players, had a very special guest to the show come by and bless us with a little bit of the research and the knowledge that he's accumulated over the basketball season that we're going to be applying to MLB. We went ahead and broke down the player pricing. I now have a pool of players that I like. I'm gonna sleep on this, wake up refreshed with a core a nice core of 4 players in my head. I'm gonna go out through the rest of my research and meet you back in the midday mix at 3:30 sharp. Thank you so much for being a part of the DFS Sweatshop. There are many ways for you to support the show, but you're supporting the show in its purest form right now, and I appreciate it so much But if you want to support the show further, you can look over here where it says support the show. There's a box. Click that box. Also, go check out my personal PayPal, SimmonsMaurice95 at yahoo.com. Also, if you would like to have privileged access to everything that Rudy and I talked about in the beginning of the show, as well as all of the tips and tricks and the things that we have in store for you as a member of the DFS Sweatshop family, go to the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. That is where you receive everything, tips, tricks, tutelage, everything to make you a profitable daily fantasy sports player. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Signing off, telling you the number one thing I want you to do in the sweatshop is always keep it 300.